Hello, good morning, and welcome to Sunrise Sports on 3FM 92.7. My name is Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. Before we get into the latest in the world of sports, let's give thanks to our sponsors. Mega 6 Lotto is approved and regulated by the National Lotteries Authority. All you need to do is to play by dialing *266# or download the iOS and Android apps on mega6lotto.com to play. You select from only 49 numbers and you can win lots of exciting prizes, including 1 million Ghana cedis. And what would you do if you win that 1 million Ghana cedis today? Well, there's a lot that you are missing, yes, from Mega 6 Lotto if you are not playing it. Well, let's quickly get into the news. And Chris Hughton, head coach for the senior national team, has spoken ahead of the big game. But the team had their final training session in Moroni ahead of that big clash in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier. Well, as it stands now, Kudus Mohammed is doubtful for the game, as he did not form part of training yesterday. So Kudus stayed out of training, all because of a back injury. But for Daniel Amati, the defender who got injured in the first game against Madagascar at the Barbara Sports Stadium, has been completely ruled out of the game after failing a fitness test on Monday. So it's going to be difficult for us to see some of our players who form the core, the spine of the team, playing this afternoon. But Chris Hughton hopes that this will come with ease, a victory for the Black Stars.
Our preparation has been the same as it's always been. We have to prepare exactly the same for every single game that we play. And we know the difficulty of every game, and we have to make sure that we are prepared. Every game is different, so whatever results there have ever been in the past, we always have to look at this next game as a one-off game, always. And this is what all our preparations have been for. No, as I said in the last question, everything that is in the past is the past. We have to look at every game as a one-off game. We are on the back of a good win on Friday, and so are Comoros. So both teams, I presume, would come into the game with good confidence, having won their last game. Our preparations are for a very tough game against a Comoros team that are playing at home and are on the back of a good win. And all we can do is make sure that we prepare ourselves for that. We know that to win tomorrow, we will have to play at a good level. This we know, and this we understand. And this is what we have prepared for.
Well, this is what they have prepared for. But the last time the Black Stars faced Comoros was in the 2021 African Nations Cup, played in 2022 in Cameroon, the final group game. And Comoros defeated the Black Stars 3-2, preventing Ghana from progressing. Here is a quick preview from my colleague Emmanuel Landam on the game.
The four-time African champions Ghana will be hoping to make it 2 wins out of 2 games in the World Cup qualifiers when they face Comoros on Tuesday. After seeing fellow islanders push Ghana in the opening round of fixtures, Comoros will retain genuine belief of causing a major upset against the Black Stars. Ghana left it late with athletic Bilbao forward Iñaki Williams finally breaking the deadlock in the 6th minute of injury time. While it was not the perfect start in terms of performance, winning is ultimately all that counts. Black Stars coach Chris Hughton will be without the service of veteran centre-back Daniel Amati. The Besiktas defender went to ground with a suspected hamstring injury in their last outing, with Kasim Nuhu expected to cover. Amati is the latest to join the growing list of injured players, with the Black Stars missing key players in the likes of Thomas Partey, Tariq Lamptey and Jiku. The small nation got their World Cup qualifying campaign off to the perfect start after coming back from 2 goals down to seal a 4-2 victory over the Central African Republic last Friday. That win marked their first ever victory in the World Cup qualifiers. Comoros qualified for the African Cup of Nations for the first time at the most recent tournament in Cameroon last year, with their historic win against Ghana taking them through to their first ever knockout stage in the tournament. The Black Stars are out to prove a point, as that defeat to Comoros was one of the lowest points in Ghana's history, as the four-time African champions crashed out of the group stage for the first time since 2006. Ghana's biggest threat to claiming top spot in Group I and an automatic spot at the World Cup in 2026 in the process is likely to be Mali, but they will certainly not be taking Comoros for granted after their humbling experience in Cameroon last year.
So that is from Emmanuel and the preview to today's game. Ghana, after that humbling experience, wouldn't want to go through. Now, Mali settled for a 1-0 draw against the Central African Republic in our group. So, Kondobia Geoffrey got the equalizer for the Central African Republic team after Mali has shot the opener. Chad also lost 3-0 to Madagascar. So, you take a look at Ghana's table, and Mali are top with 4 points after 2 games. Comoros have 3 points after 2 games. Madagascar have 3 points after 2 games. Ghana has 3 points after a game. So so the Black Stars will need to win today to go top. Between them and Comoros, a victory for each other will send them to the top. It looks like Chad are going to be the whipping boys in this particular group. Well, very unfortunate one for them there, but in the last 16 games, Chad have been winless. Now let's take a quick look at the rest of the results that came up yesterday in the World Cup Africa qualifiers. Djibouti lost by 1-0 to Guinea-Bissau. Eritrea and DR Congo couldn't play because Eritrea have already withdrawn from the qualifiers. Gambia were beaten 2-0 by Cote d'Ivoire. Liberia 0, Equatorial Guinea 1, and then Seychelles lost by 5-0 to Kenya. We had Chad losing 3-0 to Madagascar, and then Mali settling for a 1-0 draw against the Central African Republic. Matches coming up today: Swatini against Cape Verde, Uganda against Somalia, Botswana against Guinea, Tunisia against Malawi, Lesotho against Benin. These are games coming up. South Africa will travel to Rwanda, Ethiopia against Burkina Faso, Libya against Cameroon, Mauritius against Angola, Namibia against Sao Tome and Principe, and then there is South Sudan against Mauritania, Senegal against Togo, Niger against Zambia, and then Tanzania against Morocco. Well, the other matches that will be coming up, I'll be feeding you later on across the social media handle 3SportsGH. Now, crowd violence got to a rise last weekend at the Sunyani Coronation Park as Maxwell Knedu, coach for Nswatraman Football Club, was attacked by fans after a Ghana Premier League game, sending him unconscious and at the hospital. My colleague Bilishan has a lot more on this.
A few match days ago, Bofokwatano needed the assistance of the police to escape Tamale unscathed. Great Olympic shortstopper Benjamin Nasari was injured by fans in Doma. Also, some fans, believed to be supporters of Asante Kotoko, destroyed seats at the Dr. Kwame Chey Park as the Porcupines drew with Nations FC. The latest incident happened on match day 11. Maxwell Kunedu was attacked by fans of Bofokwatano at the Sunyani Coronation Park and had to be rushed to the hospital as a result. It was a moment that neutrals would want to forget.
So, to be frank, on attempt to run, someone kicked him from the back. So he fell down flat on the turf, and on an attempt to get up and run, that was when someone kicked the legs and he had to fall down again.
Major stakeholders of the sport have reacted. The Ghana Football Association, in a quick response to the incident, issued a temporary ban on the venue for matches, and the Ghana Police Service are on the manhunt for the perpetrators. However, some believe that these actions should be firmer and harsher.
We're going to impose fines and sanctions, which I think are not stringent enough. I mean, they are not deterring. If someone beats a coach and you hand that person a 3-match ban at home, you've done nothing. I am looking forward to the situation or the time when the FA will strengthen its laws on.
The Ghana Premier League has been an unattractive brand to many Ghanaians. Hooliganism, as it continues, could make Ghana's biggest local product an unrecognizable one.
So that is from Belishan there on the crowd violence that happened in Sunyani, that is Sunyani Coronation Park, where Maxwell Knedu had to fight for his life. But Maxwell Knedu was discharged from the hospital on Monday evening and has been voted as the Ghana Premier League coach of the month for October. This was after leading Nswatraman FC to an unbeaten run in the Ghanaian Top Flight League last month. Nswatraman FC won the whole of last month without a defeat, winning 3 games and drawing just 1 out of the total 4 games that they played. Well, moving on, the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association has imposed a temporary ban on Bofokwa Tunnel from using the Sunyani Coronation Park as its home venue with immediate effect. Now, the GFA Council aligns with the Article 14, subsection 2 of the GFA Premier League regulations, which empowers the GFA to close any Premier League centre if the safety of the club's match officials or spectators cannot be guaranteed. The competition department has been instructed to designate an alternative venue for Bofokwa Tunnel to play their home matches as per Article 14, Clause 3 of the Premier League regulations. Now, staying with that particular issue, the Ghana Police Service has provided an update on their manhunt for 2 persons who attacked Maxwell Knedo, the head coach for Insua Treman Football Club. One suspect by name Seydou Musa has so far been arrested for being in connection with the assault on Insua Treman FC's head coach Knedo. The suspect Seydou Musa, also known as Gaswan, and another person who is on the run, were the main actors behind the attack on the coach. While another coach seems to be closer to losing his job after Hartlepool sacked Martinus Koopman last week. Now, BBN Gold Stars management has decided to grant head coach Michael Osei a short leave of absence in light of the club's recent struggles. The Miners have found themselves languishing in the relegation zone of the Ghana Premier League standings after 11 rounds prompting this season. Well, the Gold Stars have endured a frustrating run of form, going 7 matches without a victory during this period. They suffered 2 defeats and settled for 5 draws, leaving them in the 17th position with only 11 points from 11 matches. Some more sanctioning coming from the Football Association and Asante Kotoko have been fined for their violence at the Dr. Kwame Chey Sports Complex in Abrankese. The disciplinary committee of the GFA has imposed a fine of 80,000 Ghana cedis on the Porcupines for breaching Article 16C and Article 16.2F of the GFA Disciplinary Code 2019 in the Premier League match against Nations FC at the Dr. Kwame Chey Sports Complex, when they decided to throw missiles and also caused a lot of damage to the seats at the stadium. So 80,000 Ghana cedis. Some other players and officials were also fined in the Sharif Mohammed for attacking the referee, and Issa Amadou, also the equipment officer for the Porcupines, has also been fined. Now let's move on to the South America World Cup 2026 qualifiers, and this evening there's a big game coming up. It's Brazil against Argentina. That game is at 12:30. Yes, midnight, 12:30. Brazil against Argentina. There is Peru against Venezuela. That one is at 2 a.m. on Wednesday. But this evening, Paraguay play against Colombia, Uruguay against Bolivia, and then there is Ecuador playing against Chile. So these are the games coming up in the European qualifiers. Yesterday, Italy managed to sail through after a goalless draw against Ukraine. Macedonia 1, England 1, Czech Republic 3, Moldova 0, Albania 0, Faroe Islands 0, Northern Ireland 2, Denmark 0, Kazakhstan lost by 2-1 to Slovenia, and San Marino were defeated 2-1 by Finland. Matches coming up today: Romania against Switzerland, Andorra against Israel, Belarus against Kosovo, Greece against France, Netherlands against Gibraltar, Croatia against Armenia, Wales against Turkey. Now to the under-17 World Cup. Brazil defeated Ecuador 3-1 yesterday in the round of 16, and Spain also defeated Japan 2-1. There are matches coming up today. There is Mali against Mexico, there is Germany against the United States, and then there is Argentina against Venezuela, and Morocco against Iran. So if you look at the matches, these are the times that are coming up. So 8:30 a.m. this morning, Mali against Mexico. Same time, Germany play against USA. And then at 12 midday, there is Argentina against Venezuela, and then Morocco against Iran. We have 2 African nations there, Mali and Morocco. Our prayers and thoughts going out to them for a very good day today. Now let's turn our attention to former Manchester City defender Benjamin Mendy, and he's set to sue the Premier League champions after claiming he's owed millions of pounds in unpaid wages. Mendy will take City to an employment tribunal in a bid to recoup what the French left-back believes were unauthorized deductions from wages after he was charged with rape and sexual assault 2 years ago, which he was freed. Kave Soheko provides more details on what Benjamin Mendy seeks to gain from this.
Now, last week, he filed a claim at the Employment Tribunal, claiming unauthorised deduction of his wages by Manchester City. And he's being represented by Nick DeMarco KC. He's a very experienced senior lawyer who's represented, I think, more than 45 clubs in England and also some of the most famous footballers in the world. Because back in August, there was a hearing at the Insolvency and Companies Court in which Benjamin Mendy was involved. Now, he didn't appear in person, but basically the hearing was about the taxman, HMRC, chasing him for unpaid tax of about £800,000. Now, during this hearing, he was represented by one of his accountants who didn't give his identity, but during the hearing, when he was speaking to reporters, he said that Benjamin Mendy's agent was in negotiations to get his back pay from City on the basis that he'd been found not guilty. And he also said the sum in question was in the order of between 9 and 10 million pounds. As you mentioned, Benjamin Mendy last played for City in August 21. His contract ran out this summer. He signed a 2-year contract with Lorient in the French league. Manchester City, for their part, are not commenting.
Manchester City, for their part, are not commenting on this particular issue. Let's turn our attention to youngster that is Warren Zaïre-Emery, and he will be sidelined until the new year with an ankle injury suffered on his France debut last week. The French club announced on Monday that the 17-year-old who left the field in the first half of France's 14-0 Euro 2024 qualifying win over Gibraltar after scoring in his first international game will miss 2 crucial Champions League games against Newcastle and Dortmund, as well as a host of League R fixtures. Very unfortunate for the youngster. Come back stronger, Zaïre-Emery. And finishing off with some athletics news. 5-time Olympic champion Ellen Thompson-Herah trying for a third consecutive 100-200 sprint gold double next year in Paris will train under coach Ronaldo Walcott, her agents said on Monday. Now, Andy Sports Management in an Instagram posting said the 31-year-old Jamaican sprint star will join Elite Performance Track Club and train under Walcott, as does Jamaica's Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, a 10-time world champion and 100-meter champion at the 2008 and 2012 Olympics. So that is it there for Thompson-Herah, looking for more glory. That will be all for sport. Thanks to Mega 6 Lotto. 6 numbers can change your life. With only 49 numbers, you can win loads of exciting prizes up to 1 million Ghana cedis today. Play before 5 p.m. Monday to Saturday. All you can do is to dial *266#, follow the prompt and play, or download the iOS and Android apps on mega6lotto.com to play. Mega 6 Lotto is approved and regulated by the National Lotteries Authority. My name is Kelvin Owusu. As the sunrise continues, Johnny Hughes and the rest of the team are here. But as always, DJ Abian will be here to serve you some fine tunes before they come. Have a brilliant Tuesday. Say a prayer for the Black Stars.